Glacier. Glacier. Environment. Pole. Freshwater.
All the water we'll ever have is already here on Earth. It moves from ocean to land to ocean, over and over again.
Brr! As seawater freezes into salt-free pack ice, the remaining saltier water sinks and flows toward the equator. Right. If you lived in an arid land by the sea with lots of oil fields, a desalination plant might show up in your photo of a beach sunset. Head for high ground. This North American seaport would be the next Atlantis.
The water cycle affects every living thing on Earth. We're all interconnected in one great web of life.
Predators.
The survival of marine species depends on diversity. If you think the health of the ocean's food web only affects ocean creatures, then you'd better think again.
Extinction. That's right. Animals that eat phytoplankton would starve, and then the animals that eat those animals would starve, and so forth, destroying the food web. You're right. Plants create energy by photosynthesis, and then many types of animals get energy from eating the plants. Absolutely. Starfish are voracious predators that can pry open shells to get at their prey.
All life is interconnected, so preserving all species is very important. One organization that helps to protect biodiversity is World Wildlife Fund. World Wildlife Fund helps to control pollution, restore ecosystems, protect endangered species, and preserve the incredible diversity of life. World Wildlife Fund wants to protect the diversity of life. To do that, it's crucial to understand animal relationships. The lives of ocean animals are intertwined. Cleaner fish are fed, while groupers are groomed, and clownfish snuggle up to anemones.
That's the right word, because the relationship is mutually beneficial. True. A parasite just takes from others and gives nothing in return. Yes, the sim means together, and biosis refers to living. So, symbiosis is all about living together.
Some animals benefit from partnerships with other animals. Others benefit from pretending to be something they're not. Hide and seek. It's not for fun. In nature, this is a game of life and death.
Algae.
Fish can look like plants? What else can fish do?
Right. The stonefish looks like a stone on the sea floor. The frogfish resembles coral. Both pretenses allow these fish to hide from predators and to hunt prey without being seen. Yes, shrimpfish hide from predators at night by hanging upside down in the sea urchin's spines and pretending they're part of them. Right. The saber-toothed blenny looks almost exactly like the cleaner wrasse. It pretends to eat parasites, but takes bites of the fish's flesh instead.
Fish can look like plants? What else can fish do? Nobody really knows how many species of fish are out there. We keep discovering new ones, like this rare megamouth shark, which belongs to a species that's millions of years old.
Dinosaurs. Yes, all fish have gills, although it's sometimes hard to see them. Correct. Nobody has ever seen a porpoise with gills. Porpoises are mammals, not fish. You bet. If water doesn't contain enough oxygen for fish to absorb, they would suffocate, just as you would if you couldn't get oxygen.
Baby fish often don't look much like their parents. Can you match babies in eggs with the adults who produce them? Many water babies look nothing like their parents. Test your skill at finding all kinds of grown-up animals in this marine mosaic. There are so many marine animals. Do you know which of them live in the Antarctic Ocean?
Right. In effect, this zone marks the northern limits of the Antarctic Ocean. You're right. Increases in ultraviolet light may be hazardous to us and our climate. You know your krill. Whales, penguins, fish, and squid are just a few of the Antarctic animals that enjoy a steady diet of these little crustaceans.
The Antarctic is not a comfortable place to do research, unless you love blustery winds, lots of ice, and blinding snow.
Cetaceans.
Like humans, dolphins are curious, intelligent, and playful. But these animals are a lot more graceful underwater than we are.
Absolutely right. Dolphins often race gleefully to large ships and find that special spot in the bow wave where they can be pushed along like surfers. Correct. People endanger dolphins by taking them into captivity, trapping them in tuna nets, and polluting the ocean. That's right. According to some scientists, the killer whale, or orca, is not really a whale, but the largest of the dolphins. Predators.
Going fishing? A hungry great white will tackle almost anything. Aren't you glad you're not on the menu?
That's right. People all over the world eat shark flesh and fins. That's right. In a wetsuit with flippers and especially on a surfboard, a person can look a lot like a seal when approached from below. Yes, automobile accidents kill many more people than any type of animal does.
Turtle time in Costa Rica. These Ridleys risk their lives to climb up the beach, dig nests, and fill them with eggs. Then it's back to the sea until next year.
That's right. Although they don't look much alike, sea snakes and sea turtles are both reptiles. You bet. Turtles are not warm-blooded, so they must rely on warm sand to incubate their eggs. Right. Blue whales eat krill, not sea turtles.
creatures come in many colors, shapes, and sizes. Their sting is not often fatal to humans, but to a fish, an embrace can be deadly.
Colony. Absolutely. More often than not, the sting of the sea wasp is fatal. Survivors are rare and they bear hideous scars. That's correct. Some jellyfish are fixed to a piece of seaweed by a stalk, but others swim or use their floats for sails. Right. The bubble snail blows a bubble that becomes a hunting raft. It's one of the few predators of the Portuguese man-of-war.
An octopus likes to investigate its surroundings. It's an intelligent, curious creature, and a strong one, too.
Absolutely. When the octopus squirts out a cloud of black ink, it creates a smokescreen that disorients its enemy and allows the octopus to escape. Correct. Octopuses have very large brains and excellent memories, and they're capable of learning tricks. Pretty good for a marine invertebrate. Yes, female octopuses don't eat for a period of 4 to 6 weeks while their eggs are incubating, and they sometimes die of starvation.
When seawater becomes ice, the salt gets left behind. This process is a natural part of the water cycle here on Earth.
Invertebrates.
Navigating through the Arctic Ocean is a challenge, but at least the sailors there don't have to worry about pirates. Bears that dive and swim. Whales with horns like unicorns. Seals that slide across the ice. These are just a few of the Arctic's predators.
You got it, matey. Icebergs are pieces of glaciers that have taken up sailing. Right. A leopard seal is a predator, but it lives in Antarctic regions, not in the Arctic. Correct. Long sought after by traders, this route was finally discovered early in the 20th century.
Navigating through the Arctic Ocean is a challenge, but at least the sailors there don't have to worry about pirates. Hollywood's version of pirate life is a lot more glamorous and a lot less gory than it was in reality.
Yes, Pirates sometimes hired themselves out to nations at war. These mercenaries were called privateers and buccaneers. Right. Anne Bonny and other female pirates were just as fierce as their male counterparts. That's right. Unfortunately, both Columbus and Francis Drake set examples for pirates. Columbus took innocent captives and gold back to Europe. Drake was a thief as well as an explorer.
Marine sanctuaries provide safe breeding grounds for many endangered animals, including the largest of all creatures, the blue whale.
Tsunami. True. Most died from the effects of giant waves generated by the eruption. Exactly. The Red Sea separates the continent of Africa from the Arabian Peninsula. Right. Some scientists believe that Gondwanaland was itself part of the original supercontinent of Pangaea.
The relics of ancient civilization are found throughout the Mediterranean. How many centuries have passed since this pottery held anything but seawater?
That's a fact. Sailing ships had to wait for a strong easterly wind to push them out into the Atlantic against the current. That's it. Because the Mediterranean is sheltered on all sides by land, the influx of cleaner seawater from the Atlantic Ocean is very slow. Correct. A giant wave caused by a volcanic explosion may have hastened the end of an entire civilization and inspired fables of the underwater city of Atlantis. Iceberg.
Sailors think of the Sargasso Sea as sluggish water choked with weeds, but divers know this place is teeming with life.
Yes, unfortunately. Shore habitats such as mangroves and seagrasses are displaced by resort buildings and the erosion caused by them. Yes, it rarely rains in this region, where sailing ships used to lie becalmed for weeks. You're right. Shallow continental shelves provide light and food for many species of fish, while long-dead plants and animals lie buried as oil and gas deposits.
Many Pacific Islanders still rely on traditional fishing methods that have stood the test of time.
Right. In 1946, a new style of two-piece bathing suit was named after bikini, which made headlines that summer for being the atoll unlucky enough to host the first underwater nuclear detonation. Correct. Remains of coral reefs, which grow only in shallow waters, are also found on top of these flat-topped seamounts. Correct. These volcanoes mark where the plates of the Pacific are being shoved underneath the surrounding continents.
Many ocean creatures have scary-looking teeth, but we sink our teeth into them far more often than they ever bite us.
That's correct. Most sharks' teeth are serrated like steak knives and can rip and tear. They make especially nasty wounds. Yes, barracudas are fast, aggressive fish. Many people call them the tigers of the sea. That's right. As difficult as it may be when confronted by a frightening predator, do not move when you see a barracuda. Sudden movement will only provoke it, and you definitely can't swim as fast as it can.
Pollution and destruction, wasteful exploitation. Unless we make this a thing of the past, our oceans may not have a future.
It's true, the ever-increasing human population threatens to destroy shoreline habitats, decimate marine species through overfishing, and pollute the oceans. Good job! Mara refers to the sea, and culture means to grow. That's right. People get more space, but fish, turtles, and other animals get less.
Sea monsters created by Hollywood are often more funny than frightening.
Nice work! Scandinavians named this creature after a tree because they thought its crooked arms looked like tangled roots. Yes, Sinbad the Sailor had some amazing adventures with some incredible people and animals. Right. According to ancient legends, sirens sang songs that were irresistible, luring sailors to their deaths. dhow.
Through hard work and a lot of expertise, sailors can harness the awesome power of wind and water.
You're right. Being a strong swimmer and knowing about boating safety are essential to enjoying a sport like windsurfing. Yes, a lateen, or triangular, sail is one of the old. Yes, a lateen, or triangular, sail is one of the oldest designs and is used on dhows, ocean rafts, and many other kinds of sailboats. True. With lateen sails stiffened by battens, junks can sail in many wind conditions, and they can cover vast distances.
Hi, I'm Kim. Ever since I was a little girl, I've dreamed of sailing around the world alone. Now I'm actually going to try it on my 30-foot sloop, the Serafina. Choose one of my tours if you want to share some highlights from my trip. It's a long way from Hawaii to Australia, so I'm glad you're along for company. Let's go! Who turned the wind off? I've been moving fast on the northeast trades, but now I'm stuck in the doldrums. It's so hot. I've got to be careful with my fresh water supply. Some sailors have been marooned here for weeks. My only consolation is that I get a great light show every night. The plankton light up like the Milky Way, and all sorts of creatures glow like lanterns beneath the surface. Click my picture to see what happens next.
How can a soft-bodied octopus protect itself from a toothy attacker? Shoot out a cloud of ink and jet away. It's the only hope.
After 8 days in the doldrums, I finally made the southeast trade winds and I'm moving again. Moving very carefully, that is. The waters here are full of reefs that could put a quick end to my trip. Sometimes I have to climb up the mast to get a good view. The last thing I need is for the Serafina to break up on submerged coral. I'm surrounded by sharks! Every now and then one rubs up against the boat. It gives me the chills. This sure isn't the time to fall overboard. Something on the horizon. An island? It's coming closer. That's no island. It's a waterspout, and a big one. I've heard that sometimes a waterspout will go back up into the clouds, move inland, and rain fish down on people's heads. But they're most dangerous out here at sea. If it moved over my boat and all that water came crashing down, it would be the end of the Serafina. And of me. Fiji rising out of the mist. Land at last. Fiji is really a series of 300 atolls and volcanic islands. I'm headed for the biggest island, Viti Levu. Sometimes it gets as much rain in a day as London gets in a whole year. What a way to restock my water supply. Winds over 90 miles an hour and huge waves crashing on deck. It's a typhoon. I've taken down all the sails, lashed the tiller to heave to, and set the heavy sea anchor. It's all I can do to keep the Serafina from capsizing.
From New England to Florida, the eastern seaboard of the United States is periodically ravaged by hurricanes.
You'll be glad to know the Serafina and I made it through the typhoon. I made good time to Sydney, Australia, then up the eastern coast to the Great Barrier Reef. This is the biggest reef in the world, with lots of islands and channels. Time to scuba! Yikes! I better be careful when I'm swimming around here. The northern beaches of Australia are one of the favorite haunts of the Australian sea wasp. Who wants to brush up against something that has tentacles that can kill you? That's it for this leg of the trip. Want to cross 2 more oceans with me to finish the journey? Then choose my next tour, and remember to duck your head when we tack, or you'll get clobbered by the boom.
Hello, mates. I can call you mates, can't I? The name's Eli. Eli Higgins, that is, rightly. Choose one of these here tours and come on this venture with me. I'm not sailing alone, not me. I'm getting right used to the seafaring life now, I am. But every day's full of surprises. You'll see what I mean. Here's looking at you too, friend. Look what a mate stuck in me sleeping hammock. Nearly bit off me big toe, it did. Them crab claws are sharp as a surgeon's bone saw. But you know what? I stuck the crab in me mate's pea soup. Click me picture and we'll find us some more mischief.
How do crabs pass the time? It's mostly eating and more eating. And then there's eating. Hey, get away from my food.
Oh, timber and tar, but there's a gale on us. Stow sails on the yards. Whose yards? I thought I left the yards back in England. Oh, the boys are climbing the rigging and hauling on the ropes. Glad it's not me up there in this foulish storm. Oi, oops. The ship's rolling and pitching. The waves are as big as mountains. I do honestly regret every mean and wretched thought I ever had. Heaven preserve us miserable brutes from being shipwrecked on those rocks.
Never underestimate the power of waves. They're both destroyers and creators, constantly reshaping our shorelines.
Well, of course, an expert sailor like Eli Higgins would stand his ground even in a storm, now wouldn't he? He wouldn't flee in terror. So methinks me and the crew deserve a rest on this here tropical island. Of course, finding the way across the reef can be a bit tricky.
From an undersea volcano, an island emerges. Add the action of the surf and presto, a beach.
Calamity and ravage. Eli's Rest has disappeared down the bilges. We're besieged by pirates. They say some of them lady pirates are even more fearsome than Captain Kidd. They're wielding muskets, pistols, hatchets and swords. Oh, have mercy on Eli Higgins. I fought 'em off. The brave and stalwart Eli Higgins stood his ground and fought off the evil pirates. Locked in hand-to-hand mortal combat, we were. Good thing we English have been using guns at sea since the 1500s. It's time to put me feet up, it is, and whistle on a bosun's pipe. What? What's that you say? There's salty crocodiles in India where we're bound? You're pulling me leg, mate. That's about as likely as alligators in America. I wouldn't.
Well, what are you waiting for? Come on in for a swim. The water's fine. You don't mind a little crocodile company, do you?
Yes, ichthyosaurs were prehistoric reptiles that lived during the Mesozoic era and are the ancestors of saltwater crocodiles. Right. Alligators have wider heads, and only crocodiles have two teeth that stick up outside their mouths like sabers or tusks. You bet. The table manners of saltwater crocodiles could be better. While eating, they shake their catch violently to remove unwanted parts like heads and tails.
My name's Curtis, and I rescue people for a living. When people think about dangers at sea, they think about hurricanes and shipwrecks and sharks. You know, all the really spectacular stuff. But it's usually the little things that get people in big trouble. Choose one of my tours and I'll show you what I mean. I'm a diver myself, so I know that scuba diving is a wonderful sport, but it can be a dangerous one too. In diving, water pressure is one of your worst enemies. Learning how to balance your buoyancy control and your weight belt is crucial. If you go zooming up like a cork from a deep dive, you could end up with the bends, which can cause severe injuries or even kill you. Click my picture to see what's next. Nitrogen narcosis can happen at different water levels. It depends on the individual diver. It can even happen from getting bad air in your tanks. Nitrogen narcosis makes divers really stupid. They've been known to take regulators out of their mouths and to lose track of which way is up. If you start feeling confused, surface. But remember, not too fast, or you may make things worse by getting the bends. And if your dive partner starts doing silly things, she's probably not trying to amuse you. Take her up gradually to the surface.
Imagine life as an anemone. Clownfish might move in with you. You'd feed from the currents, wrestle with neighbors, and accept whatever comes along.
Of course, you know there are things down here with teeth. Morays usually don't bite except in self-defense, but once they latch onto something, they don't like to let go. I hope you know that it's not wise to tease anything with jaws like these. Of course, you can't talk about diving without talking about sharks. A few do bite people every year, but it's rare. If nearby boats have been throwing food scraps into the water, watch out for sharks. They can smell food for a long way off, and they may come sniffing around for a handout. Make sure you're not the snack they're looking for. These guys don't bite, and while they're swimming, they're perfectly safe. It's the ones that are lying on the bottom that you have to watch out for. If you get whacked by a stingray's tail, you probably won't be able to pull the barb out yourself. You'll need to see a doctor, and you'll want to anyway, because those barbs are attached to venom sacs, and that stuff hurts. Ever put your finger into a light socket? I hope not. But if you get too close to an electric ray, you may get a good jolt. Their lightning power is designed to stun fish, though, and not people. So you're likely to be more surprised than injured. Now, I know that finding this kind of thing is nearly irresistible to divers. You just have to explore. But it's a very bad idea to swim into anything you're not absolutely sure you can get out of. And watch out for cables and sharp edges that can snag you or tear your air hoses.
Greetings, I am Zarka, a citizen of the planet Mars, a place where the intelligent forms of life live in liquid oceans. A team of our species, the Maricians, is conducting a study of water planets in your galaxy. Please choose a path and accompany me to assist. The relationships among the different forms of life on this planet are quite perplexing. Most curious of all are the land-dwelling creatures known as humans. They are constantly waging war against the other creatures on Earth. These humans capture great numbers of sea creatures. Some they consume to gain their energy. Others, apparently their enemies, they simply kill and discard. A very distressing tendency. Click my picture to continue this report. Humans often inundate sea creatures with poisons and debris. This can be very effective in annihilating their enemies. But do the humans not see that this practice harms themselves as well? Some humans use their underwater craft to venture deep into the sea. Do they seek knowledge, or more prey species? It is unclear.
With modern submarines and submersibles, we can finally explore the ocean depths. Scientists can now study new areas, like deep volcanic vents.
Perhaps they seek their lost possessions on the ocean floor. They seem to hunger for shiny minerals and antiquated objects, as well as for ocean creatures. These humans have an astounding capacity for destruction. Why? Perhaps they seek to emulate the explosive power of their planet, which at times erupts in violent displays of superheated gases and molten rock. Most perplexing. A few members of the order Cetacea have taken it upon themselves to educate humans. These are brave souls, indeed, given the fierce nature of their students. The Cetaceans report that humans are exceedingly difficult to train and can only comprehend the simplest messages. I am glad we do not face such a challenge on our home planet. This concludes my report. To observe more information I have gathered in my travels, choose another tour from my screen, or you may voyage independently. This is Zarka, wishing you clean water and good health.
After I retired, I guess I spent too much time around the house. Get a hobby, my wife Elsie said. Get a job, get a pet, anything. Just get off the couch. So I started looking around for something new to do. What did I pick? Scuba diving. You wouldn't believe what's down there. Choose a tour and I'll show you. After we got our gear, the instructor says, "Okay, now we're going to learn to breathe underwater." Well, I think, I've got a tank full of air. How hard can it be? Let me tell you, it took a while to take that first breath. It's just not natural to inhale underwater, you know? When I finally did start, then all I could hear was the sound of my own breathing. So I breathed faster and faster until the instructor thumped me and held up a slate that said, "Slow down." Embarrassing, but I got the point. Once I mastered the essentials, I started noticing the wildlife. Even what looks like plain old sand is alive with animals. Some things move so quickly, you're not even sure you saw them to begin with. These garden eels, for example, zipped back down into their holes every time I came close. Appearances are deceiving down here. Nothing is what it looks like. These fish pretend to be plants. I didn't even see them until I ran my hands over them. It's a good thing a pipefish can't hurt you if you mistake one for a leaf. But a fake rock can really zing you if you're fool enough to put a hand or a foot on it. One of these lumps is a harmless anglerfish. The other's a deadly stonefish. Yes, sir, you gotta keep your eyes open at all times down here. It's a whole different world than you see from the surface. Take kelp. That rubbery-looking stuff you don't want to drive a boat through. Underwater, it's a whole forest, just with fish flying around instead of birds. A wonderful place, full of all kinds of surprises.
An undersea forest, dappled with light and constantly moving. What a wonderful place to live.
On the bottom, I saw this really nice big crab, and I thought, wouldn't I like to have that guy over for dinner? So after a brief chase, I nabbed him. But no sooner did I get my hands on him when something grabbed me with a long, sticky arm. An octopus. That guy clamped onto the crab with one arm and clamped onto my wrist with another. Hey, I can beat this boneless wonder, I thought, so I pulled. Next thing I knew, it had grabbed onto my other arm, had wrapped two arms around my leg, and had another arm tugging at my air hose. I was all out of arms. It still had two to go. To make a long story short, Elsie and I had spaghetti for dinner. The octopus had the crab.
Hi, my name's Rebecca, and I'm an oceanographer. Choose a tour and let me share with you some of the amazing things I've learned. My friend Anita is a marine biologist, but she comes to me all the time with questions about physical oceanography. She's learned a lot from me about currents and tides, and I've learned a lot from her about how they affect the plants and animals that she studies. It took people quite a while to find out about currents like the Gulf Stream, and then it took them even longer to find ways to work with currents and not against them. Seems like some animals had this figured out a long time ago. Anita's done a lot of research on eel migrations and asked me plenty of questions about Atlantic currents in the process. Her studies have helped unravel the mystery of how eels reproduce. I guess that makes her Sherlock Holmes and me Dr. Watson. Many ocean animals that are fixed in place couldn't reproduce without currents. That includes animals like these that don't even look like animals. These creatures also depend on currents and tides to deliver their food to them. The food they eat is called plankton. That's a whole group of tiny plants and animals that drift on currents. If plankton suddenly disappeared, Anita would be out of work because all of the marine creatures she studies would also disappear as a result. It just goes to show that you don't have to be big to be important. Have you ever wondered how the animals that live on remote islands got there in the first place? Biologists do, and when it comes to the marine iguanas that live in the Galapagos Islands, They think that currents are the answer. They believe that these reptiles may have drifted to the Galapagos on natural rafts, like logs or clumps of seaweed.
Lizards in seawater? Why not? There's just one problem: how to get rid of all that salt. Here's a solution: just sneeze it out.
Currents aren't the only kind of water movements that ocean animals have to deal with. Just imagine the pounding that animals that live near the shore have to take. These are tough creatures. One thing that we are constantly learning in oceanography is that everything on Earth is connected. Have you ever wondered what happens to all of the rain and snow that falls on the land? Well, most of it gets dumped back into the ocean by rivers. Some animals have adapted quite nicely to life in these areas where fresh water and salt water meet. If only people could be that flexible.
Whoops! The ribbon eel ate the crab and the octopus. The boxfish nibbled on the tube worm and the sponge. The starfish pried open the scallop and ate it. The goldfish died. Goldfish belong in fresh water, not in salt water. Try again. The boxfish nibbled away part of the sponge. Good job. You've balanced the life in your aquarium, and everything should survive as long as you pay attention to water temperature and chemistry. Good job. You've balanced the life in your aquarium, and everything should survive as long as you pay attention to water temperature and chemistry.
Beaches are wonderful places to explore nature. But remember, you're just a visitor here. Leave nothing behind but footprints. Let's go underwater for a close encounter with some fascinating animals. A fish that walks? Why not? Mud skippers crawl on their fins to eat out of water or to move to a new pool. Fascinating fish. Hiding out and staying hidden takes hard work and a little ingenuity. Hey, shut that door! Scuba divers quickly discover that they're not the biggest creatures in the sea. It's a good thing most ocean giants are gentle. Target shooting comes naturally to an archerfish, but the fish that hits the target is not always the one that gets to eat it. Albatrosses for dinner? No need to pluck. Hungry sharks will eat them as is. What's in a name? Just ask the lumpsucker. Goatfish, sea cucumber, brain coral, porcupine fish, hammerhead, lionfish, or the brown booby. People sometimes forget that the oceans provide us with food and a means of transportation. It's recreation that first comes to mind. Surf's up! Others may be fooled by its leafy appearance, but this sea dragon never forgets that it's a living, eating animal.
The project provides temporary jobs for construction crews and low-wage jobs later on for people in your area. Your government benefits from the taxes. Environmental groups picket your office, and some activists call you a turtle killer. Because other governments in the same area have made the same decision, the sea turtles are now extinct. Unemployed people in your area continue to expect your government to assist them. You have to hire guards to keep tourists out of the sanctuary during nesting season. Unemployed people in your area picket your office, saying that you believe animals are more important than people. Environmental groups applaud your decision, and your town wins an award for providing a marine sanctuary. More sea turtles come back every year. The new complex provides some jobs and some new tax money for your government. Unemployed people in your area continue to expect your government to assist them. You have to hire guards to keep tourists out of the sanctuary during nesting season. Unemployed people in your area picket your office, saying that you believe animals are more important than people. Environmental groups criticize your decision for not providing enough protection. Sea turtles come back every year, but not in great numbers. They're disturbed by the nearby lights and noise, and people and their pets keep intruding upon the turtle nesting area. You have to tax the entire community to pay for the seawall. Most of your people complain that you're stealing their money to bail out rich homeowners. The seawall is working, but the waves are gradually undermining it. It'll need to be replaced in approximately 5 years, or sooner if the area is hit by violent winter storms. The homeowners have to abandon their seaside homes. They sue your government for not protecting their property. The homeowners mount a campaign against you, accusing you of mismanagement of public resources. The waves gradually sweep the expensive homes out to sea. Beach habitats used by birds and other animals are also lost to the waves. Your government pays for the new properties and the cost of relocation, depleting your treasury. The homeowners claim that the new properties are of lesser value, and they sue your government for the difference. The homeowners mount a campaign against you, accusing you of mismanagement of public resources. The waves gradually sweep the expensive homes out to sea. Beach habitats used by birds and other animals are also lost to the waves. None of the fishing crews make enough money to sustain them for a whole year. They expect your government to help support their families. Environmental groups criticize your decision for not providing enough protection. The fishing industry accuses you of trying to put them out of business and of destroying a traditional way of life. More fish have spawned than in years before, so there are more babies and a few more adult fish at the end of the season. It'll be several years before the baby fish are big enough to be commercially valuable. The fishing crews are out of business for a year. They expect your government to support them and their families during that time. Environmental groups criticize your decision for not providing enough protection. The fishing industry accuses you of trying to put them out of business and of destroying a traditional way of life. More fish have spawned than in years before, so there are more babies and a few more adult fish at the end of the season. It'll be several years before the baby fish are big enough to be commercially valuable. Over the next few years, the fishing crews catch fewer fish and earn less money than ever. They accuse your government of mismanaging the fish stock and demand that you pay them damages. Environmental groups criticize your decision as giving in to big business. There are very few fish left in the area. It'll be decades until they make a comeback. Other fish-eating animals, such as seals and seabirds, have also disappeared. All fishing crews demand that your government pay their wages for 3 years. The fishing industry accuses you of trying to put them out of business and of destroying a traditional way of life. Environmental groups applaud your decision. The fish population doubles in 3 years. Fishing crews demand to start fishing again.
Imagine laying an egg like this. And hatching from it isn't easy either. Phew! Hey, where'd they go? You better look fast if you want to see these guys.